Hey everybody! So we're at the end of our week together here, and this is a great time to take a closer look at our mentor text and some of the things that we have read together. We're going to be showing what we know in our reader's notebook today. So, question number 1. Look at the loop diagram in Brave Bessie on page 21. Why would Bessie be considered brave for doing this stunt? So think about her nickname, Brave Bessie. All right, before we answer that, we should really set ourselves up for success here. So what I want you to do is up at the top of your page, let's write down today's date. Today is April the 9th, 2021. And it's always a good idea to add a title up at the top of your work so that your teacher or your principal or even yourself a little while from now will be able to recognize this page and know what it was mostly about. So it's mostly about the Brave Bessie story that we're reading this week. So I'd like you to go ahead and write Brave Bessie on the top. Feel free to pause the video if I'm getting ahead of you here. I want you to, down the side of your page, I want you to leave yourself some room to work, but I want you to put number 1 and then skip about 3 lines before you put number 2. And then skip again before we have number 3. We'll probably answer about 3 questions. The first one is about the loop diagram in Brave Bessie. So let's take a look. Here is Brave Bessie. And if you remember, there's a diagram up in the top corner of page 21. And it says, when Coleman returned to the United States, she was a daredevil, right? One who performed risky tricks. She flew loops and flips and barrel rolls and other dangerous stunts. She put on several exhibitions and people everywhere were very impressed. She was called Brave Bessie. Now take a look at the airplane. Notice what it's doing in the loop and think to yourself, why might she get the nickname Brave Bessie for flying that trick? Yeah. She was brave because why? I could think of a few reasons. That plane had an open cockpit where the pilot sat. So there was nothing keeping her in except maybe a seatbelt. So I think it was brave because she was upside down. I think it was also brave because sometimes when you turn machines upside down, like if I took my lawnmower and I turned it upside down, the engine might stop because of all the gasoline and oil and fluids inside that machine. What if the engine stopped when you were doing one of your loops, Bessie? This is risky, right? So she's upside down. She could fall out. The engine could stop. It goes on and on. So let's see. She was brave because it was upside down. Right? It was risky because she was upside down. She could fall out. The plane could crash. You could probably write a lot of things as part of your answer. Okay, let's go back and take a look at number 2. Read the poem Crazy Boys. Which word does the speaker use to describe the rights? Okay, and then why does the speaker say at the end, we were wrong and they were right, and then they spell it like their last name. Usually right doesn't have a W at the beginning when you're saying right and wrong. So why did they spell it with their last name? Okay. So I would say I've almost memorized this poem. We've heard it so many times. I would say words like lazy, crazy, foolish, dreamers, lazy, crazy, foolish dreamers trying to fly, right? Watching the birds. We were wrong about their airplane and they were right. And I think the speaker was saying, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I shouldn't have called names or been mean. So I would say the speaker wanted to say sorry, or that they were wrong, and that you should never give up. Their dream was right. Dreams can come true. It's hard to know exactly what the author was intending because the author is not here, but that's my best guess. All right, this last one is probably one of my favorites. Let's find out why. Amelia Earhart, way back at the beginning of the mentor text, and Brave Bessie. They're both in this same mentor text. How are they similar and how are they different? So we really could do a lot with this, but I'm just going to go ahead and set it up and leave the rest, the good thinking, to you. So imagine we have a circle for Amelia Earhart. Imagine we have a circle for Bessie Coleman. And on this side, I'm going to write things that Amelia Earhart did. She was one of the first women pilots, right? She certainly was the first woman to fly over the ocean. Remember how she did that? She got super famous for her flying. And she ended up disappearing or maybe dying. Okay? Now over here, Bessie Coleman here, she was the first woman to have a license to fly, right? So let's see if I can't think of some other things that Bessie here. So I'm going to change my color. She was the first African-American woman to have a license. So I'm going to write that down. She got a license to fly. She never flew over the ocean much, though. Instead, she drew or flew stunts and loops. So that was a little bit different. She didn't really get famous like Amelia Earhart did, but she did want to start her own school for pilots. Right? And she died. Oh, wait. Maybe I should have put that they both died young in the middle here, because to be honest, they both died really young in their lives. Imagine what they would have done if they would have still been alive. I should change that color here because it's a little bit blue and a little bit red at the same time. Not only did they both die, but they were both women. They were both pilots. Right? So some things that are different about them and some things that are the same about them. Just kind of sketching out your ideas. I could imagine that you would have much more to say than just that. Thanks, guys. Bye now.